is no classroom page as of now for DVD, if I'm not wrong.
So there is one. I will just share that with you. Don't worry.
All right, sir. Sure. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. So this, as you know, is Digital VLSI Design course. And let me first share with you something about me. So my name is Anuj Grover, which you might already know from the various emails and other information that you already have. Uh, I've been working in the VLSI design domain for more than 20 years, of which more than 18 years have been have been with ST Microelectronics. So I did my BTech from IIT Delhi, pursued masters from University of California, San Diego, and then pursued PhD from IIT Delhi before finally joining Triple IIT Delhi early last year. So through this period of completing my BTech and then joining Triple IIT Delhi, I was working with ST Microelectronics. And since I did my PhD in a part-time manner, while I was pursuing PhD, I was still working at ST. Uh, so one of the benefits of working with a corporate is that you get patents. Like you get an opportunity to file patents and not just papers. So I have a few patents in my name and some papers. Uh, my basic or my primary areas of research and interest are circuits and systems, memory design, and today I'm focusing quite a bit on in-memory compute, and then safety and security in hardware. My other interests include innovation. So I am a TRIZ Level 3 certified practitioner. I have been a trainer on ST internal training called Creativity from Creativity to Innovation for about 10 years. In fact, a little more than 10 years before I joined Triple IT Delhi. Uh, I am also interested in leadership. In fact, I have been training people on leadership when I was at ST for more than 7 or 8 years before joining Triple IT. And another interest that I have is in well-being and self-growth. So you will continuously uh, find small snippets of gyan in our interactions, where I feel that you are kind of ending up losing focus and losing the big picture and getting too occupied with the nitty-gritties of the challenges we face on a day-to-day basis. So as I already mentioned, I'm a TRIZ level 3 practitioner. So TRIZ is a system, is a toolbox which is used for inventive problem solving. So you see, there is a difference between innovation and invention. Innovation is innovation could be without a problem also. In fact, that it's something like you are just being creative and you're thinking about ideas and you could come up with ideas even where there is no problem. सब कुछ ठीक चल रहा है लेकिन creativity तो you can still come up with improvements and ideas. Everything is in a perfect state, but you still would want to create and innovate there. Inventive problem solving, on the other hand, which TRIZ handles or TRIZ deals with, is about problem solving. So you first need to have a problem, and that problem could be that my market share is falling down. So that problem need not necessarily be technical, but we will try to find a technical solution to it. So we need to have a problem, and then we find solution to that problem. So TRIZ is a technique that was evolved in Russia, and when Russia broke down in 1991, that was when TRIZ came out and became available to the rest of the world. And today, many companies, at least in VLSI, I know that Intel, ST Microelectronics, Motorola, that is Freescale, Samsung. In fact, Samsung has a huge group that works on TRIZ. So many companies use TRIZ for innovation, for inventive problem solving, and for gaining an edge. So while I'm not going to teach you TRIZ in this course, but yeah, we will probably have a course on inventive problem solving sometime soon. You can expect that from me. In terms of my physical coordinates, those who are already from Triple IT, in the sense that who've been at Triple IT for since earlier, they would know that where the R&D block is, and my office is A610. For those of you who joined Triple IT just this semester, so when we physically meet in the campus, this is where you can find me. Okay. And if you have any trouble, because today we will not be able to meet physically in this semester, from what we look at it, you can always reach out to me at my email ID, which is anuj@iitd.ac.in. So given this, let's, so any questions till now? I doubt, but yeah, if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Okay. So what will we cover in this course? So we will start with an introduction to VLSI design. That is, how does, so all of us are using ICs, is it not? So whether you are viewing this lecture on a phone screen or on a laptop or on a desktop, wherever you are, you're using an IC. Some integrated circuit is there. So we'll look at how a complex system on chip, a complex IC, like the processor in your phone or a processor in your laptop or the desktop is made. Okay, from the design perspective. That are used on these ICs. We will start with MOS capacitances, then MOSFETs. We will look at interconnects and so on. We will look at their properties and how to use them in the most appropriate manner. And then we will start to go into the designing part. So we will first get introduced to the domain, the context awareness will be there, then we will get to understand what components we have, and then we will go into the designing part, where we will look at things like delay estimations, power estimation, and so on. So I just noticed that some of you had written in the chat window that I was not audible. As I already mentioned, if I'm on the slides, I will not be looking at the chat window. So your messages would go unread, unheard, and therefore I will not be able to take care of them. Okay. So we'll look at delays and power estimates, how to make them, how to estimate delay and how to estimate power very quickly in the kind of a back of the paper calculations. Then we will look at combinational circuit design. We will spend quite a bit of time on this, different topologies of combinational circuits and how they are designed. Then we will look at sequential circuit design. What sequential circuits are there, like flip-flops and latches, different kinds of latches, edge-triggered and pulse latches, and the delay constraints that appear in a circuit when we use sequential circuits, okay, like setup time, hold time, and so on. Then we will have a quick glimpse at some data path subsystems like adders, counters, multipliers. You might have already seen a few of them earlier. We will not go into much detail. We will just have a quick glimpse on it, okay? And towards the end of the course, we will look at memory subsystems. We will talk very briefly about the cache hierarchy. We will talk about how SRAM cells are designed, and then some peripheral circuits like decoders and sense amplifiers for an SRAM. All through this course, all through these next 4 months that we are going through, we will all continuously be using EDA tools, essentially Virtuoso from Cadence to make schematics and to make layouts, and Eldor from Mentor to simulate our circuits and to estimate delays, estimate power consumption, and so on, okay, to characterize the designs that we are making. So I understand that quite a few of you have already been introduced to these EDA tools in the refresher course that was conducted just before the semester. For those of you who have not been, we will be organizing a quick refresher over one of the coming weekends so that you're not lost. Okay. So just for my information, how many of you have attended this refresher and you know how to use Virtuoso and Eldo?
Sir, we have used Vivado, but not Eldo that you are saying.
So no, Vivado and Eldo are very different. Vivado and Eldo are very different tools. Eldo is a circuit level simulator.
Sir,
Yeah,
I
sir,
So
have
we
two
have
credits.
used only Vivado.
So I guess most of the BTech third year undergrads have had this refresher module and they attended this refresher module of Virtuoso and Eldo.
yeah. So so all the third year undergrads, have you done it already, or some missed that refresher because you didn't want to spend those 3 days? Okay, so I assume you guys have done it. At least those who are attending DVD course have gone through this refresher. Those who are attending analog CMOS should also have gone through that refresher, by the way, because in analog CMOS also these tools will be essentially used. Okay. Then coming to the MTech students, so I understand MTech students have not had the opportunity to use these tools. So we will have a refresher on one of the coming weekends. So I believe this weekend you have some tests for your refresher module. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah. So probably the next weekend we will plan a short session on how to use these tools. Okay. And I think that would give you a good handle. And we will probably have some assignment before that also, but the deadline I will announce an assignment before that, but the deadline for the assignment will be after the refresher module has been done for you guys, so that you don't face much trouble there. Okay, it will be a very simple assignment. Don't worry about it. So coming back to the slides. So as I mentioned, course slides and in fact course recording will also be available on the Google Classroom. The class code is written here, so you can just copy it down somewhere and you can connect and enroll yourself in the Google Classroom. We'll be using two books as reference books or textbooks, whichever way you want to call it. CMOS VLSI Design, a Circuits and Systems Perspective by Neil Veste and David Harris, and Digital Integrated Circuits, a Design Perspective by Jean Rabi, Anant Chandrakasan, and Borivijan Nikolik. So I know that the physical stuff may be difficult to get, but the nice thing is that both these books are also available in soft copy online. So you should be able to download these books from online resources somewhere. And so even if you're not able to lay your hands on a physical copy because of lockdowns and because of constrained supply somewhere, since the books are available online, so you should not really face a problem. Okay. Then a little bit about the evaluation breakup. As of now, I think that we will have about 10% of weight on assignments, and they will be mostly, so that we get a good handle on EDA tools. Then we will have a quiz in every other lecture. So not today, so next time. So if we do cover something technical today, then next time you can expect a quiz. Okay. So every other lecture there will be a quiz. However, I understand that you are, many of you are facing internet issues and electricity issues and all that. So we will not use the scores of all the quizzes. I hope that not more than 30% of the times you will face such issues, and therefore we will use only 10 out of those 13 or 14 quizzes. Okay. We will have a course project which will be based on the EDA tools that we talked about. So the assignments will be to build things up for the project. And once the project starts, I doubt that I will give you any assignments except some basic assignments which are not related to EDA or anything. Basically, the last two assignments would probably be something to help you prepare for your midterm and final exam. Okay. We will have midterm and final exam. how to conduct that, what kind of exams they are, I'm not clear yet. But yes, I'm still keeping the weight to be 25% for each of them. Depending on how we proceed in the course, these weights may change. But before changing anything, I will discuss it with you, and we will agree it in the class as to how to change the weights, if at all. Okay. Any questions till now? So because this is a very controversial slide, I usually get questions over here. So I'm expecting some questions now.
Sir, project will be in group or individual?
Yes. So the project will be in group, in the sense that, and that is where I said that we will need to have group interaction, and therefore we will. So as we come to the next slide, you will see that we will try to ensure that in the classes itself that you guys interact amongst each other and form groups. So Dipanshu is asking, how will the quizzes be conducted? So as of now, the plan is to have the quiz as you enter the class. So at around 10:30, 10:35, we will have the quiz online itself. There will be Google Forms, short quizzes, and should not take more than 5 to 10 minutes to take the quiz. Okay. So Setu, the group size will be 2 to 3 people. Garvit, I don't know if the quizzes will be multiple choice or not. Multiple choice may not always be the best option to develop an understanding. Okay. So we may have some multiple choice questions for some topics, but we may have some numericals also every now and then. So do not assume it is only multiple choice. We would have numericals, we would have short answer and long answer questions also. Okay. So how grading differs for BTech and MTech? So you will be simply be graded separately. So BTech students will have their own Gaussian curve to be made, and MTech students will have their own Gaussian curve to be made, and we will grade accordingly. The two it's like two courses, EC 514 and EC 314 are like two different and independent courses. All of you are attending the same classes, all of you are attending the same doing the same assignments. But since the MTech students might have already gone through a similar course in their BTech, a few MTech students may have already worked somewhere and are coming here. So this is just to safeguard and be fair to everyone, that we want to say that the grading for BTech and MTech would be different, and that is also the reason why there are two course codes for this course. So the other course that I take is memory design and test, and we have only one course code for that. In that course, there is no separation between BTech and MTech grades, but in this course, it's a core course for the MTech students, an elective for the BTech, and we have a separate grading for BTech and MTech students. So any more questions? Yeah, please.
So you were not audible. Were you speaking something?
So was I not audible to anyone, or?
Sir, I heard you tell that MTech and BTech will be graded separately. I heard till this part.
Yeah, that was the only point I was talking about, Anuj.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So is the grading absolute or relative? So one thing that I do is that we have so many 4 or 5 components of evaluations. So as many components we have. So if there is a student, any one of you, you score more than 80% in each and every one of these components. If you score more than 80% in each and every one of these components, you will definitely get an A. Okay. Now it may happen that the threshold for A is 85 and your aggregate is 81 or 82, but even then you will get an A. Okay. So in that sense, there is some absolute in this. Otherwise, it will be largely relative. Does that help? So Shubhi, I was not aware that you have an option to choose between 314 and 514. I assume that all BTech students would choose 314. The course contents will remain exactly the same. It may happen that those who have chosen 514, they may have an extra question to solve in their in the mid-sem and the end-sem exam. So since the grading is going to be separate, the curves are going to be made separately. The MTech students may have the 514 students may have to solve one or two extra questions when it comes to the exams. So yeah. Anything else? Yes, Ashutosh.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So some of our friends took this course in the third year last time. So they were crying a lot about the license issue. So
Yeah,
so
thanks for bringing it up, Ashutosh. So last year we had around 20 licenses in the course for the Virtuoso tool, and this year we have 40. So we have doubled the number of licenses. I am confident that we will not face any issue this time.
All right, thanks, sir.
Okay. So Setu have not decided on that part. We can. I do not know. We will see. We will see. So usually I have been giving this extra question as bonus question to the BTech students also, but that's usually when there is a timed exam and something like that. So I'm not even sure how we will have the exams this time round. I would want it to be a timed exam within in this setting itself, this kind of a setting itself. So on those exam days, at least you may need to ensure that you have good power backup and you have a good internet connection. At least those 2 days you will have to ensure this, come whatever may. But if it so happens that that is not possible for everyone, then or something else, then we may have a different mode of an exam, and then this bonus question may not make sense. I do not know. So Setu, we will see this as we progress. I cannot be unfair to anyone in the class. Each and every one of you is important to me, and it is important that we are fair to everyone. Anything else?
So just one more thing. So on the topic of the licenses itself, so we had a refresher module in the past week. But so one of the other problem, except for the licensing, was actually the load on the server. So if 10 people are accessing the server together, then the server just slows down and you can't even work with it. There's a delay of about one whole minute before I click something and something actually happens. So is there something which can be done about that?
Yeah, so we already raised this issue with the IT team. One of our TAs, Prakhar, is already interacting with Bhavani and seeing how to solve this thing. So we understand that. So our suspicion earlier was that the VPN is an issue, but we are told that VPN is not an issue. The VPN bandwidth that we have for the institute is 1 Gbps, and even at peak loads, we have only touched around 500 to 600 Mbps at times. So VPN is clearly not an issue, and then we will work with the IT team to see how the server can be duplicated or what can be done so that the server does not become a bottleneck. No, Ryan. So we will be working on VPN. So we will actually be working on servers on the IIT campus. So your individual system should have sufficient RAM and processing capability to be able to run VPN. For making the layouts, for making the schematics, for doing the simulations, we will be using the servers at IIT only. आगे बढ़े? So yeah, this is one more thing I want to understand. Is there someone in the class who has trouble understanding Hindi?
Yes, sir.
So someone who has trouble has to say yes. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
yeah. So how much Hindi do you understand? Do you understand no Hindi at all, or do you understand some Hindi and not too much? What is the status? So all four of you, I want to hear from you.
Not too much Hindi, sir.
Karthik, Meghana. So अगर मैं अभी
Sir,
आपसे
sir.
या अगर मैं अभी आपसे अभी हिंदी में बात कर रहा हूँ, तो आपको समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? इतना समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So I said something in Hindi just now. Could you capture that? Could you understand that?
Yes.
Meghna, there's a Karthik, were you able to understand what I was saying? Guruveer,
50.
Yes, sir.
your voice is not clear. So you were able to understand what I said in Hindi?
Yes, sir. A little bit, sir. You asked me that how much I understood Hindi, right, sir?
Yeah. So I asked the same question in Hindi earlier, and I translated it in English, so that if you did not understand that, you should ask me. So okay, I get that. So I will tell you about one of my weaknesses. What happens is with me, this is one of my weaknesses which I am consciously trying to work on. So what happens with me is that at times when I'm explaining a concept, I might unconsciously, or I might just switch over to Hindi. Okay. So if you see that happening, and if that impacts your learning, it is your responsibility to at once raise a flag and say that, sir, please repeat. You moved on to Hindi, we have not understood. So 4 friends here. Can I count on you to take this responsibility for your learning? Can you at once raise a flag that there is an issue and we have not understood what you
Yes,
said?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah. So if it does happen that I have switched over to Hindi and I'm just going on, and you're completely lost, please immediately stop me and ask me to switch over back to English. It's not that I do not know English, it's just that Hindi being my mother tongue, I may actually just slip into Hindi very soon, every now and then. I try to avoid that, but it does happen. It happened a little while back, therefore I got reminded of this topic. Okay, so it is your responsibility to at once let me know that, sir, you have switched over to Hindi. Please go back to English. Okay, and for this you don't need to write in the chat. You just need to unmute yourself and speak up, because as I said, I would not have the view of the chat at all times. Okay, so should we move on?
Hello, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. But just before we move on, sir, is there a specific
Yes,
time
Swapnil.
where we can actually contact you, like an office hour or something, or the mail would be fine at any random time? Or like, आप कोई office hour रख
Yeah,
सकते हो
I will
particular?
just come to that.
Oh, sure, sir.
Yeah, I will just come to that, Swapnil. I will just come to that. So that is the next slide.
Okay.
So you're leading me to the next slide, actually. Okay. Yeah, so this is about the class logistics. We will use Google Classroom as the repository. For the first 1.5 weeks till the time this ad drop period is on, we will use Google Meet. This is so because that is what has been announced by the academic section. The Google Meet link has been announced to people, so it may happen that some of you or some other students may want to just check out what this class is like, and they should find the class at the Google Meet link provided by the academic section. However, once the ad drop period ends, we will switch to Zoom. Why we would do that is because Zoom has the capability to help us go into breakout rooms, and we can then go into smaller rooms and have some peer discussions and interact with each other in smaller groups, consolidate our doubts, consolidate our understanding, and then come back to the larger group, and if there are any pending doubts, we can review those in the class. Okay, so the first point that you said, that the online mode is not interactive and you do not get to interact amongst yourself and others. So the intent is that by using Zoom, we should be able to avoid that, or we should be able to circumvent that limitation to a significant extent. I'm not saying that this is as good or as bad as a physical class, but it is an attempt to kind of manage this constraint that we face with the online classes. Okay, I believe all of you have Zoom installed on your systems, and you had a significant part of your orientation, the new MTech students, and for the BTech students also, you have had meetings on Zoom every now and then. I believe some other course faculty would also be using Zoom for this reason or another. But Zoom is the platform that we plan to move on to after the ad drop period ends. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
So-
I'm sorry to interrupt, but excuse me, sir. So I'm sorry to interrupt, but regarding
Yes, Setu.
Zoom, actually, it doesn't play nicely with Linux and all, and also the app, at least as of now, is very, very buggy. The reason I'm saying this because we tried to have a triple E class yesterday on Zoom, and it was really a mess. Like no one was able to connect, and there were a lot of people facing technical difficulties. So that's why, like, if it is possible, can we not switch to Zoom, because like you have to fiddle with it for 40 minutes just so that you can connect to it. So it doesn't
Okay.
really play nicely.
Okay, so okay, we will discuss this amongst ourselves. See, I really want that you guys should have an opportunity to interact amongst yourselves. See, I'm not as much worried about the undergraduate students as I'm concerned about the MTech students. As undergraduate students, you have known each other for 3 years or 4 years already. So when I ask you to form groups later, you know who to talk to, and you already may have formed groups at some point of time or another in some course or another. So आप लोगों के लिए challenge नहीं आने वाला है. However, for the MTech students, they have not physically met each other ever. And now in courses, we would want all of us to work together in groups. So I would want that, some ice breaking to happen in the class much earlier than we enter into that project phase. So we will need to have groups. We will need to have some interaction amongst you guys, which is a more private interaction than a class of 107 people, 108 people that we are sitting together abhi, है ना? So we will see if we can enable small rooms, breakout rooms, and stuff like that, even with Google Meet. I know there is a solution, but it is bulky. It is not very neat solution, so we can experiment with that. And I also hope that, and I also understand that many faculty are actually hell-bent on using Zoom. So I also hope that the issues with Zoom will also get resolved. These are teething troubles. So by the time we plan to switch over, that is in the next 1.5 weeks, after 10 days, when we intend to switch over, I will check with you guys again. I hope that these teething troubles with Zoom would be taken care of. And if
Excuse
not,
me, sir.
then we can see how we can use Google Meet. Yes, Sahil.
Sir, can we use Microsoft Teams, sir, instead of Zoom app, sir?
Is there a specific advantage that you see with Microsoft Teams, Sahil?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, my younger brother uses it, sir, for his school, sir, and I find it very useful, sir.
So have you used Zoom and Google Classroom earlier?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, Zoom app, sir, basically is that anybody can hack your Zoom meeting, sir, and can play a very disruptive role in that, sir.
Yeah. So Zoom meetings. So we have licensed Zoom with us, Sahil. So licensed Zoom is much secure. People cannot really hack into it, and if no one can really enter into it in an unwanted way, then all that we are saying is that it is us people over here, and we don't want to spoil our class, do we? So I do not worry about that aspect as much. Anything else that bothers you? So I understand what Setu brought up, where he said that connectivity and the app in itself is unstable, and they were not able to connect to the class yesterday. So that is really a challenge. We do not want that kind of a thing to happen. But I would say this concern is already taken care of because we're using professional licenses of Zoom.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else that bothers us if we go to, like, anything else because of which we may want to go to Microsoft Teams? Okay, so we will see. So I had thought that we would switch over to Zoom after about 10 days, and we will review this decision at that time again. Okay. So let us, while I had thought that this would be a fixed decision, but I am okay with keeping it tentative, and we can review the situation in a few days. Okay. So you please let me know if the situation with Zoom continues to be equally bad as we move on. Okay. So we all of us know that our classes are on Tuesdays and Fridays between 10:30 to 12. I would also want us to identify a substitute class time. Location we know is online, but if I end up missing a class, for example, due to attending a conference or due to bad health or something, so does any one of you have a class in the 2 time slots that I have mentioned below, which is Tuesdays and Fridays, 9 to 10:30 a.m.? Does any one of you have a class that at that time?
Yes, sir. On Friday at 9 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
On Friday
Yes,
at
sir,
9
on
a.m.
Friday
you
at
have a
9
class.
a.m.
Which one is that?
TA duty.
You
Sir,
have a
it's
TA
a
duty.
TA duty, sir.
Sir,
Okay. Okay. So if it's a TA duty,
TA duty.
that's
So
on
foundational
so
computer.
foundational computers. That's TA duty, or that's a course that you're doing?
No, core BTech course,
Foundation of
foundation of
computer
computer
security.
security.
That's 9 to 10:30 on Fridays. On
Yes,
Tuesdays and
Tuesdays and
Fridays
Fridays.
both. Okay. So okay, then let me look into my calendar and propose another slot. So that if we miss a class due to one reason or another, we should know when to when to have that class. Okay, so Tuesdays and Fridays mornings do not work for you. How about Mondays 4 to 5:30?
Hello, sir. Sir,
So we have
sir, Monday
ML class on
ICF
Monday.
class is Monday.
Okay, my God.
So Monday we have ML
Monday you
for
have
BTech
what?
third year. Machine
Okay.
learning for BTech third
Okay,
year.
so I will also have a look at the calendar and suggest something new, and we can see. But it would be good to identify one slot in which we can have a substitute class if we end up missing one. Okay. Yes.
Sir,
Yes, Garvit.
the seminar slot is free for, I think, all the students, so we can have a substitute class on
So
that
that's
slot.
Wednesdays 4 to 5:30. Am I right?
Yes, sir. 2:30 to 4 to 5:30. I'm not sure about that.
2:30
So you
to
can
4.
plan for 2:30 to 4 slot also. Actually, that slot is for faculty meeting.
Yeah.
And 4
So
to
2:30 to
5:30
4 may
slot
not
is-
be possible.
Okay, then 4 to 5:30 is the seminar slot on Wednesday.
So 4 to 5:30 Wednesdays. Anyone has an issue? Great. So if it does come to it, then we will have our substitute class on Wednesdays between 4 to 5:30 p.m. and I would announce it in advance. Okay. It will not be कि मैं आपको Wednesday को सुबह बताऊंगा कि आज आपकी class है. Okay. So we will do it like that. Then in terms of my office hours, I plan to keep them on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Anyone who will have absolutely zero availability in this duration? So I understand that if needed, each one of you will be able to attend the office hours and reach out to me in those office hours. Even if you have a class starting at 10:30, you can meet from 10 to 10:30. Or if you have a class starting at 9, you would be able to meet me after 10:30. Am I right? Great. So in this course, we already have 3 TAs assigned to us: Prakhar, Mukesh, and Diksha. They all have done the course last year with me only. They are well versed with the tool set. They are very proficient with the tools. They have done all 3 of them have done 2 courses with me. They have used these tools extensively. So they can be a really, really big help when it comes to solving your tool-related problems or stuff like that. And more importantly, since they have done 2 courses with me at least, they understand me well. They are in the class even now, I think. So I'm.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah, Mukesh is here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Prakhar is here. Yeah, so all 3 of them are also in the class now. So I can assure you that if you bring up questions or doubts to them, they would be able to handle your questions and resolve your doubts in a very effective manner. So do utilize their office hours also. These are the office hour timings that they have proposed. So essentially what we are trying to do is that on all the 5 days, someone amongst us is available to you for one reason or another. So either there's an office hour or there's a lecture on the every day. And every day, if you have some trouble, something to ask, someone is available to check on you, to be able to help you there. That is what our intent is. We do not want you to be left high and dry. So can you confirm that these time slots are appropriate for you and that you will be able to attend these office hours, at least 2 of the 3 office hours if needed? If not all 3, at least 2 of the 3 office hours are fine with you. Anyone who is not able to attend 2 office hours out of these 3? How many of you are able to will be able to attend all the 3? How many of you will be able to attend 2 out of these 3? So if you're attending 2 out of 3, then please use 2. Okay, yeah, 2 on 3, yeah. So Swapnil, you are able to attend only one of them?
Yes, sir. Actually, we all have a triple E class on Thursday, that slot, and on Monday I have another class. So on Tuesday I have another class. On Monday only I'll be available.
Okay. So Tuesday and Thursdays you have this class.
Right, sir.
Okay. Is that the same situation for all the others? You said one on 3, like. So again, I would say that those of you who are joining from outside of IIIT Delhi, please join from your IIIT Delhi ID. I will not have the bandwidth to admit students in the middle of the class every now and then. Okay, so you will just keep on waiting outside the class and not be able to join it. Please use your IIIT ID to join the classes. Okay, so then I would say that Prakhar and Diksha, you have to see if you can shift your meeting slot by half an hour, like 3:30 to 4:30. If we shift it by half an hour, then I believe all of you will be able to attend it, because the class would be from 2:30 to 4. And then I would assume that you would be free from 4 to 5:30, and then you will be able to attend their session. Would that work for you?
Sir, I will look into the calendar, then let you know.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Swapnil?
Just as a suggestion, is Wednesday's faculty meeting time slot okay for the TAs? Like, I guess all the students would be available during that time slot.
So I let the TA. So फिर देखो उसमें फिर ये हो जाएगा. अभी हमने ये चाहा था that we spread out the office hours on all the 5 days.
I agree, sir. Like, I guess if maybe one of the TAs can manage, like जहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा clash हो रहा हो, like Thursday, I guess काफी लोगों का clash होगा because of triple E. That is mandatory subject. So that can be shifted to Wednesday. What I feel, maybe.
Okay. Prakhar, would that be possible for you?
Yes, sir. There's no problem.
Okay. So we will have it like that then. Prakhar would have his office hours from
3 to 4. 3 to 4 will be
3 to
better.
4 on 3 to 4 on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Mukesh would have it on Monday 3 to 4, and Diksha may continue with Tuesday 3 to 4, but preferably she will shift it from 3:30 to 4:30 if her calendar allows. Is that okay?
Right, sir. That would be fine.
Any concerns? Okay, so we move ahead. Now there are some rules of this online game, है ना? अब हम online semester कर रहे हैं, तो there are some rules which would help you work better. First is, please plan to be in the class for the entire duration. While I have said that we will have the quiz in the beginning of the class, I can assure you that, and if you do not trust me yet, you will realize that learning from lecture recordings is much more complex and much more prohibitive than learning when you are sitting in the class. So please plan to be there in the class for the entire 1.5 hours. Wherever you sit, please sit in a manner that you're not facing a door or a room where other people are moving around. This will help you concentrate better on the coursework. Then many of us, I notice, get entangled in the equations. Case equation में ये लिखा है, and we tend to remember equations much more than the concept behind it. So I focus on the intuitive feel much more than the equations. For me, the equations are a model of the physical phenomena. Okay, and that is what my focus would be in the class. I would not use too many equations in the class, and even when I use, I will actually give you an intuitive feel of that equation much more than the equation itself. Okay. Ask questions when you have doubts. Do not think I have antennas or extra terrestrial or extra neuronal power to understand that भाई इस बच्चे के दिमाग में अब सवाल आ गया होगा. So I cannot do that even when I see you physically in front of me. When I do not see you physically in front of me, I simply cannot do that. I am incapable of doing that. So until you ask me questions, I cannot resolve your doubts. Okay. So it is your responsibility to ask when you have doubts. Okay. Then I would typically use metaphors in the class, quite a few of them. And the intent is to develop an understanding. Don't get entangled in the metaphors and say कि आपने एक बिल्डिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स की बात करी थी, उसमें तो ऐसा होता है लेकिन हमारे सर्किट में तो ऐसा होता है. अरे भाई, बिल्डिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स और सर्किट अलग अलग चीजें हैं, उसमें अलग अलग चीजें होती हैं. बिल्डिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स की बात खाली इसलिए करी गई थी बिकॉज आप सब बिल्डिंग कॉम्प्लेक्सेस को जानते हैं. ओके, सो एग्जाम्पल के तौर पर ही कह रहा हूँ, दिस इज जस्ट एन एग्जाम्पल. सो मेटाफर्स विल बी यूज्ड to help in developing an understanding. Don't get entangled in them either. So neither get entangled in equations nor in those metaphors. Okay. Spend as much time as possible on the assignments that I may give you on a regular basis. Okay. I will assign, the assignments that I give may have the problem defined in a particular way, but feel free to experiment beyond it. Okay. As I already mentioned, attend office hours, and I don't need to harp any longer or any much more on plagiarism, that there is zero tolerance for plagiarism. Don't think that since we are online, copying will go unnoticed. Plagiarism and copying are absolutely unacceptable. So there is zero tolerance for that. And if I observe that, I have no option but to inform the academic department about it. Okay. So I understand that all of you, each one of you have attended at least a few sessions on what plagiarism is and how it is unacceptable. If there is any challenge, or if there is any misunderstanding or any lacuna in your understanding about plagiarism, this is the time to clarify that. So if there are no questions, is it fair to assume that each one of you understands what plagiarism is and what copying is, and you will not indulge in any of those unfair practices? Can I assume that?
Sir, can
Yes.
we check our own plagiarism?
I'm sorry?
Sir, can we check our own plagiarism? Like if we are submitting something, so can we check the plagiarism beforehand, then submit it?
So Anuj, if you have written the answer yourself, it is highly unlikely that a plagiarism check will flag it. Don't worry. It is not about you checking. It is about you not using a resource other than your own knowledge and understanding. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So आप देखो again, डरो मत. It is not कि मैं आपको डरा रहा हूँ या धमका रहा हूँ. It is just that I want you to use your understanding when you answer questions, when you work on assignments or anything like that. Use your understanding. Don't copy, don't cheat, and don't just avoid that. Even if so online resources सबके पास हैं, books सबके पास हैं, आप सब books एक ही book से पढ़ोगे. But अगर आप book से सीधा copy paste करोगे तो that is plagiarism. Okay. Develop an understanding and then respond based on that understanding. I assure you, if you respond based on your understanding, each one of us is so unique and so different that we will never face any plagiarism issue.
Sir, suppose if I'm taking an diagram from a book or some source and I'm referring that I've taken that diagram from that source or book, so it will be fine, na? It will be not count in plagiarism.
So if you are using that in an assignment, it is fine. And you have to clearly state that this is from this book. Okay, you have to clearly identify the source. That is very, very important.
Sir, sometimes if I'm not getting a concept, I use YouTube and use their concept. Then it will be a plagiarism or not?
So Rayan, again, if you've used, so many of you will use the same online resource for developing your understanding. That is absolutely not a problem, is it? Each one of us will use some resources. So developing an understanding is not plagiarism. It is when you will copy paste or when you exactly use verbatim what the other person has said without understanding and in their words itself. That is what is plagiarism. You understand, you use whatever resources that are at your disposal to develop an understanding and then write the answers in your own words. That is what I want. Write answers in your own words based on what you have understood out of it. Okay. Anything else?
Sir, I have it out.
Yes, Pratyush.
Sir, like even if we do it everything on our own, there's a slight possibility that it might exactly match with others, since there will be at least 100 people. Like there's a high probability that there will be a match. So in that case, how do we differentiate?
No, Pratyush. In my experience, in 100 people, even if we are 100 people, the probability that आपका 50 words का answer, 50 words answer or a 100 word answer exactly matches word to word with another person is absolutely zero.
Yes, sir. For example, if we come to circuit diagrams or
circuit diagrams, it may, but I will, you will see that even in those, when you are making a circuit diagram, the way you place the devices at some places, the way you number, the number of decimal places that you use, there's so many variables. Even if it is the same circuit that you have arrived at, there would be so many variables if you've done it independently. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So again, I am confident that no one of you intends to neither copy nor copy paste.
Excuse me, sir?
I understand this, but I still want that each one of us should be clear about what plagiarism is. Yes, Swapnil.
Sir, like I want to know, like, sir, 2 or 3 people understood the same concept from the same website. Like I'm just giving example of coding. Like 2 or 3 people using the same concept for write a code, and if they are writing it in a different way, but somehow they learned the concept from the same website. So will that also be considered as the plagiarism?
So abhi dekho, Swapnil, in this class, 100 of you are learning the concept from same resource. Are you not?
Yes, sir.
If you are, even if you verbatim try to copy what I have said, and write it in your notebook, each one of you will do it differently. I am confident of this. I have seen sufficient batches to be able to say this. Okay. So, जब तक आप साफ हो ना, आपको चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है. You don't need to worry about anything. Only when you want to do plagiarism, you need to worry about. Okay. So if you do not intend to copy, if you do not intend to cheat, don't worry about it. I am confident that, so आप इतने aware रहो, at least be aware that you are not to use the language of any other person. even if 10 people are using the same resource, same book, same what do you say, online YouTube video, whatever, even if 10 people use the same thing, I assure you that if you start to write it in your own language, you will all be very, very different from each other. Even if all of you have the correct answer. I'm not saying कि कोई गलत लिख देगा. Everyone will write the correct answer and each answer will be separate, will be different. I am confident of this.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? So we move forward, and as we move forward, I would say that हमने at least course के logistics and course के चीजों को थोड़ा सा समझ लिया है अभी. Let's spend a little time knowing you a bit. So obviously, each one of you is doing this course for the first time, except the 3 TAs, and I do not know almost any one of you. So I would want you to volunteer and introduce yourselves, and you can turn on your video, and so that I can also see you. I'm hiding the presentation for just a little bit, and I would want to see you guys, and I would want to know more about you. So you can introduce yourself, your name, where you come from, what your program is, whether you are a BTech student, MTech student, and what excites you about this course, if at all. What would excite you about this course if something is done? So any expectations, I would be happy to understand them. So who goes first? First volunteer. So don't worry, this is not going to be till the end of the lecture. मैं भी खाली 5-10 minutes इस पे लगा रहा हूँ, then we will come back to the session. But yeah, I thought that it would be good to spend some time to know you guys and to capture your expectations from the course. So chalo, if you don't want to turn on the video, don't turn on the video, but at least speak up. Who goes first?
Hello.
Yes, Swapnil.
Hello, sir. My name is Swapnil Bansal. So currently I'm a 4th year undergrad, BTech undergrad at IIIT Delhi. Like you might remember me from some of our previous interactions, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I have been I'm currently staying in Gurgaon. Like I live in Gurgaon, so I'm currently at my home only. And like talking about the main motivation behind taking up this course was that I have been like doing some I have already previously completed some courses related to VLSI, and I have already developed some interest in VLSI. Like I want to pursue it as my future prospect or something, and like so that's why I had this development of VLSI in my head. So I wanted to pursue this course.
Okay, good. Welcome, Swapnil.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I am Anuj Purwar from Kanpur.
Hi, Anuj.
I am 2019 pass out from JP University. Then I have around 1 year of experience in telecommunication domain at Rode and Schwartz, Delhi. So I am passionate about VLSI, and that is why I left my job and decided to go for MTech. So during my BTech also, I went through some of the VLSI subjects like Verilog and a little bit of placement routing, floor planning, static timing analysis. So I liked all these things, and my expectation would be to learn more into practical things and trying to relate everything with each other. So if we learn in this way, then it will be really helpful to understand. So yes, this was all. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Anuj. Welcome. So welcome to IIIT and welcome to the course also.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. So who goes next? Yes, Munun.
Hello, sir. My name is Munun Jain. I am from Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra. Passed out in 2019. I have opted for VLSI in IIIT Delhi, and my basic motive to take DVD as my course. So because I want to develop more and more interest in VLSI, I learn to basically I am interested in BJT, MOSFETs. So I thought this course will work out for me.
Okay, yeah. So I don't want to break your heart, Monoon, but I will not talk about BJTs at all in this course. I think there is, in the total course, there is just one slide which has a BJT transistor in it. I'm only going to talk about CMOS.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. So if BJTs is something that interests you a lot, then you should also take analog CMOS course.
Yes, sir. I am opting that also.
Okay, great.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, all the best. Welcome, Monoon.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Naman.
Good morning, sir. My name is Naman Shukla, and I'm from Lucknow. And I did my BTech from IMS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. And here I want to pursue MTech from VLSI, and that's why I opted this DVD course to build more understanding in VLSI domain, and like that. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Naman.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, friends, I see 100 of you here. Only 4 want to speak.
Hello.
Yeah, please. Yes, Manushi.
Hello, good morning, sir. My name is Manushi Barua, and I am a 2019 pass out from NIT Kurukshetra. And here I will be pursuing my MTech in VLSI and embedded. During my BTech, I could not practice much with the tools that are involved. So my expectations from this course is that I will gain practice by working on these tools.
Yeah, so if you participate actively in the assignments and in the project, then there's no way you can escape the tools in this course. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, all the best.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Manishi. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. I'm Anamika, and I have done my bachelor's from IIT DAV Indore, and I have 2 years of experience with IT company Cognizant Technology Solutions. But I left my job because I wanted to pursue my interest in electronics. And yeah, here I'm in CSP department. But
Okay.
unfortunately, I couldn't get VLSI. But here we can choose many courses. Like so, I am here in this course because I am interested in VLSI also, and mostly digital parts. So yeah, I am here in this course. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Welcome, Anamika. Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So this is Priyas. Sir, I have been passed out from JP University in the batch of 2017. Then thereafter, I was working in Ericsson as a software engineer for nearly 2 years. So what fascinated me was like I was working with VHDL in my undergrad. So, but I was not having a hands-on experience on FPGAs and all kind of hardware stuff. So that's why it motivated me that I should, do MTech in VLSI specialization. That's why I chose IIIT Delhi.
Okay. Welcome, Prayas. I hope you will get sufficient opportunities to work on this. So we used to have a DSD course which was launched in the monsoon semester. Due to the online nature of this semester, DSD is not being launched this semester, but you can do AELD in the next semester, and that is a wonderful course and will give you a good insight into FPGAs and how to use them and so on. So all the
Sure,
best.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Shubhi, you're audible.
Sir, I'm Shubhi. I'm a third year BTech student, and the reason I want to take this course is I want to get introduced to VLSI field, and I have done digital circuits course before, but VLSI, the course on VLSI, this is the first one that I'll be doing, and I want to get to know if this is something of my interest or not, the VLSI field.
Wow, great. I hope that I'm able to evoke sufficient interest in you in VLSI. But yeah, welcome, Shubhi.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning, sir. This is Shivani Manhas. Actually, I'm from Jammu and I have done my BTech from LNMIT Jaipur. And we had this Cadence Virtuoso, this software in my BTech, and I done some little assignments in that. So my expectations from this course is that I'll get to know more about this Cadence Virtuoso. So I chose this course. That's it.
You cannot escape that in this course, Shivani.
Yeah.
Virtuoso is the mainstay, is the backbone of this course.
Yeah, actually in my BTech, we have done some little assignments like designing a half header and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so great. So probably you can also help others in the course then.
So actually that I have done in my second year, so I'm completely lost.
Okay. Yeah, all the best. All the best, Shivani. Welcome. So no one else wants to introduce himself or herself?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
I'm Rohit. I'm a third year ECE undergrad at IIIT Delhi. We had an integrated electronics course last semester, and I liked that. I liked the CMOS digital part of it, which was towards the end. And looking up on the course description, I found that this is kind of a continuation from it, and I think that's why I'm interested to take this course.
Great. Welcome, Rohit. This indeed is a build up on that course. Yeah. Though that's not a prerequisite, but yeah, we will be taking those concepts much further here. So welcome.
Hello.
Hi. Mangesh, you are audible.
Okay, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Myself, Mangesh Sharma. I have done my master's MSc in electronic science from University of Delhi. At that course, I studied theoretical part of VLSI. And my expectation from this course is to getting a hands-on on the tools. You have mentioned like VDA.
Yeah, that you will, again, as I said, you cannot escape that part. So, welcome, Mangesh. I think I will just take another 2 minutes to introduce you to the next part of the course. We will have a regular round of introductions in the course. Every now and then I will stop and I will ask you guys to speak. So we will have that every now and then so that I get to know each one of you. Knowing 100 people in one session is simply not possible. I do not have that sharp a memory to remember all the names also. So we would go slowly, and I would want that dheere dheere karke each one of you introduces yourselves so that all of us know each other. Okay. So just give me a moment. I would come back to the presentation. So what we will do now means the next is we will look at the VLSI design flow and different abstractions that a designer takes a design through to finally be able to see a silicon in hand. In this, we will look at different stages. We will look at the stage of design analysis, where we will have requirement analysis, functional test and specs. So we'll talk about all these stages: design analysis, implementation, foundry, design characterization, and then shipping, until the shipping. So from requirement analysis to finally shipping the product. So we'll quickly go through this. So I'm just showing the slide to you. We will review this and repeat this in the next session again. But this is just a glimpse of what we will see in the next class, because a few of you are interested, might just be, checking out if you want to do this course or not. I thought it is pertinent to at least show you what is happening in the next class, and then you can decide if you wish to come to the next class or not. Then we will look at, this part, design implementation part, in much more detail. So where we will start from the initial design review to something like release to the foundry. So we'll go through this flow. I will talk about multiple steps over here, and we will use some metaphors to develop an understanding of how a chip is designed. Then from within this, we will go into, the design level abstractions as they are, and then we will look at a library design flow. What a library is and what are the different steps in designing a library. We'll look at that. And so this is essentially, the abstraction, the different abstractions at which VLSI is seen, where research is happening, where people are working, which kind of jobs you would possibly get when you become a VLSI designer, which kind of jobs you can target or we can expect to get if you do a course like DVD. All those things we will look at in the next class. If time permits, we may also touch the subsequent aspects of it. But yeah, as of now, I think we will be covering various design abstractions and the design flow in the next class. Okay. So with that, I think the scheduled time of the class is from 10:30 to 11:50. We are at the boundary of the class close time. Some of you may also have class starting at noon. So we will close the session now. If there are any questions, I will be happy to handle those questions right away.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Diksha?
Sir, I checked my calendar. I am okay with 3:30 to 4:30 on Tuesday.
On Tuesday? Yeah,
Yes,
perfect. That is very, very nice. So friends, I will update the slide and show it again in the next class, where we will have the final office hours for myself and also for all the TAs. We'll also have the final logistic details, except whether we are going to Zoom or not. Other final logistic details I will share in the first slide in the next class. Okay. So thank you, Diksha. Anything else? Any questions that you may have?
Hello. Hello.
I'm stopping the recording now. Yes, Shubhi?
Sir, can you please tell how much workload or how much difficult will be the course?
How much difficult will be the course?
Like how many hours will we be expected to devote per week?
So, Shubhi, this is a 4 credit course. So the standard expectation is that you will be spending at least 10 to 12 hours every week on the course. So that is the expectation. It may happen that the initial first few weeks you may not be spending as much time, but towards the later part, you will definitely be spending 10 to 15 hours. So on an average, I do not expect you to spend more than 10 to 12 hours a week on this course.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Then remaining part, I would say that the TAs and your seniors should be able to help you with that, because quite a few final year students have already done the course, so they would know about it, and the TAs can help you. Otherwise, the second year students can help you. So my expectation is that this kind of time would be great, and you can score an A if you spend this kind of time on the course. No problems with that, actually.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. So I'm stopping the recording now.